slash brother. I had it set to automatically record.
There you go. It's recording now.
Okay. There we go.
Oh, good.
Off my video.
Nice.
Should we actually? There's only a couple of us on here. Anna, Mark, do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, and sorry if I'm home right now, and my daughter is here, and she might come over here and join us, but I don't know if she will. So
Dude, I literally have sweatpants on. You just can't see it under the table, so you're good.
We all have our thing going on. Yeah. Nobody knows, but yeah. So my story is up until this month, and I'm an independent marketing consultant now.
Nice.
And so and that's how I came across Sarah, because actually I was the tiny marketing department and I wish I knew about you, Sarah, before I left. But now again, I am doing, I'm a one-person company now. So I'm marketing department, sales department, IT, finance, everything now. So, but I was at a startup, an education technology startup previously. I was at Groupon, and I was at Fuda, another technology startup out of Chicago. And then before that, I was in consumer packaged goods. So I've been doing marketing for quite a bit of time, and mostly in tech startups.
Okay, so that's your niche. Is that who you're targeting right now?
I feel like what I bring to the table is probably like the most essential way to do something. Like marketing doesn't have to be so crazy difficult. You don't have to spend tons of money. So kind of similar to you, but I guess I am comfortable with tech companies because that's where I come from, but I feel like a lot of the foundational stuff, and you probably understand, it works across industries. So I'm not necessarily targeting tech companies, although that's probably where I'm most familiar.
If you wanted my advice, I would recommend that you do target them, because having a real niche that one you've worked in before, and also being able to target your content to those people, it makes it a lot easier to get leads.
Yeah.
True. That's true.
They feel like you're talking to them.
Yeah.
I'm working right now with a building materials marketing agency that only works with companies that are in building materials. And the reason I picked them was because of that. Like, what you're doing. This is all you do. So I would recommend you stick with that.
Yeah. No, that's really good advice. Like, follow your own marketing strategy advice and do the same thing with your own business. Yeah, that's good advice.
And tech companies are always looking for marketing consultants.
That's true.
They're reaching out to me constantly, so I know that they're in the market for it.
Oh, well, let me know. I mean,
I will.
Connected. Yeah. No, it's really big in Chicago, and I'm really excited. I used to think that I need to go to San Francisco or, somewhere else, but Chicago is a hub of tech companies that are doing, I don't know if you guys read Chicago Inno, but there's something like every week. There's a company that gets Series B funding, or a company that's sold, or whatever. It's crazy. It's really, really quite active here.
That reminds me, there is a publication, I can't remember the name, I'll look it up, but it is tech startups in Chicago. That's all they focus on. And it's it's a more of a construction industry niche magazine, but that's all they talk about. So that they're brand new, and they're probably looking for marketing if they're being featured in that pub.
Yeah, totally. I'll look that up. What is it called?
I have to look it up. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it exists.
Cool. Awesome. Sorry, I'm going to another room now. That's why I turned off my video.
Oh, sneaky.
Sneaky.
While we're talking to Anna, let's go to her question, and then we'll go to Marcin.
Perfect.
Let me.
I can bring it up. I have it here. My questions were really more towards Sarah. Like, when you first started at doing more independent consulting work, and I know you have a full-time full-time job also, which I don't know how you do it because
Exhausted all
full-time.
the time. I have two kids also. I said I'm exhausted all the time.
Yeah,
Right.
you have 2 kids. I have 2 kids too. So I don't know how you have a full-time job and you're able to answer emails like whenever I send something and manage this independent work that you do. But how did you begin? Like, what steps did you take and how did you find your clients in the beginning?
How I started was I started really small. I started with freelance writing in the niches that I wanted to target. And if you're looking for, what I see in the last questions, what are their top needs? It's freelance writing is usually at the top of it. Web design is another big one, and graphic design are, I would say, the top 3.
Oh,
Is that what you do?
I hope, yeah.
Yeah. Those are, and even if you look at like Upwork, you'll see the majority of the contractors are in those, are focusing on those skills because that's what people need. They're time consuming and not everyone has the skill set for it. So I would focus on those.
Yeah.
And how I found clients in the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through the clients I've had in my head. I've cold pitched, and that has worked before. Mainly, my leads come in through LinkedIn. People reaching out to me after they've seen my content.
Yeah.
They're intrigued and want to learn more.
Yeah, because you do have a very big and regular content flow where you post on LinkedIn. You've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got a website. You do like blog posts. You go on other people's podcast shows. So like you're just very active. Again, I don't know how you do it with a full-time job, but that makes sense. Where
After school activities, back time.
Sarah, do you schedule out your your content posting schedule and how you respond to people on social channels? Do you like block out spots of time in order to do that?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that schedule kind of look like?
I get to the office in the morning and I sit in my car and I respond to LinkedIn posts. Right before lunchtime, I respond to all my LinkedIn posts. And usually I already have all of my content pre-written in a Google Doc.
Mm-hmm.
So around like 9 a.m., sometime in the morning, I'll post what I want to talk about that day. I have it all pre-written.
It's good.
So
How far in
not as
advance are you planned out with your content strategy?
Not that far. Like probably 2 weeks out.
Okay.
For myself. For companies, I plan like a month out.
Yeah. Okay. So, so you and I've talked to other marketing consultants around here too, and they're honestly like they don't really do as much as you. I find that you probably do a lot more, and it's really cool because I think it builds your credibility is what it does and helps in that regard. How did you determine your hourly rate or your whatever? I don't know if you do hourly. Do you do hourly or do you do project-based or retainer?
Project-based, but let's be real. We're all just thinking about how many hours it takes to do it and taking an hourly rate for that.
Yes.
So I do price it by the project, but I do start with an hourly rate in my head and know how long it'll take me to do the project. How I set it up was I looked at how much it would be to match my income now, divided that out after determining how much would it cost if I did this full time for insurance, the self-employment tax, any tools that I have to use for my job. I added all those costs up with how much I wanted to make a year and divided it out with how many hours I wanted to work a week. Yeah. And that's how I determined it.
Okay, that makes sense. Awesome. So I think you answered all my questions.
Can I tag one on to that, Sarah? All right. So I think there's a lot of people out there who preach value-based pricing too. I totally get the hourly rate, and I also do that for most of my projects as well. But I think there is some wisdom on some value-based pricing. Do you ever do that? And then have you ever? Like, what's your take on that?
I agree with it. I haven't done it. Do you
Okay.
do it?
Yeah. Well, there's some, like I quoted out, I quoted out a website for a large manufacturer where they wanted like 700 different products in, and I did my best to calculate the hours, but then I also realized like, dude, these guys are selling something that costs $100,000 a pop. So like I upped the
They can
price
afford
on it.
more.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just like, it's not just to price gouge in my mind. Like, like I was planning on being there full time at your place, learning everything so that I get the right verbiage down on all of the copy. Like it wasn't like I was sending this to Upwork and like just parceling it out and trying to make a profit off of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? There was going to be a lot of extra legwork in on it by doing it that way. But, at the end of the day, like I didn't win the bid, you know what I mean? But on the same hand, like I stand by the price that I gave them because I felt like it was fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know. A client could pick the lowest, or they'll pick the one that they think is going to be the best.
Yes. Yep.
It's up in the air. You can't read
Right.
their minds. But I'm curious, Chris, what you did at the beginning to find clients. You have an agency.
Yeah. So a lot of it again is LinkedIn networking. It's the same thing that you said. You follow up like not only on LinkedIn, but also Facebook groups. It's another great place to find work, different businesses that are out there. Hold on one second. Somebody shot me a weird text. You get into the Facebook groups and, look for, are people looking for web developers? Are people looking for this for their business? And respond to those. Same thing on LinkedIn. I do a metric ton of like DMs, but not sales pitchy, swarmy DMs. Like I literally want to get to know people. And like, if you've met me on LinkedIn, the one thing that I hope that you would say about me is that I'm as authentic as heck because I try to be.
You
know what I mean?
You
Like,
are. Yeah.
yeah.
You can feel it right away. Yeah.
Right. Good. I'm glad that resonates. But like I'm genuinely interested in helping your business. And then like, I don't ever go into the sales pitch right away unless it's on a post where somebody's saying like, hey, do you know of anybody that can do this? Another thing that I'll do, and it sounds shifty, but whatever, like it totally works. Look for people who are actually looking for full-time marketers for their business and then just approach them and be like, listen, like I could provide you this service and you don't have to go through any of the hiring process.
Yeah, that's actually a
Yeah,
really
that's
big
advice.
benefit of when you hire someone full time. It takes time. It could take months to find
Yep.
the right person. So the marketing can't stop.
Exactly. So like I find like those are actually great leads. So like I'm always on ZipRecruiter looking for who's hiring.
Yeah.
And then I track them down. Like I look them up. If you're not familiar with it, for those of you who are running Anna, I'm going to give you a big hint here. Seamless.ai is one service that I use.
Yeah.
And I use that to get client information that I want to send a personal like a message to. And I always personalize it. It's not like I'm not just getting their emails to spam it in some random generic email campaign. Like these are like highly like, hey, I've researched your company. I really want to work with you. You know what I mean? And like, this is what I think I can do for you. If you'd love to talk, I'd love to take you out to coffee. You know what I mean? Something like that. So, or like I'll shoot videos of myself and send video messages on LinkedIn. Not a lot of people are doing that.
Totally.
And-
Still, yeah,
Yeah.
even though video is huge, not a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people do audio messages on LinkedIn now, but I swear like I've only gotten 1 or 2 video messages from people on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So like for a strategy, dude, that goes miles. That blows people away because A, you're being incredibly personal with them. And then B, it's also building your rapport. So not only are they seeing your content, but you've actually taken that 15, 20, 30 seconds out of your day to shoot a video just for them. It doesn't have to be like process shoot. It's literally just like grab my phone.
Yeah.
Hey, so-and-so, like I just wanted to reach out. I love your business. I love what you're doing. Totally think I could help you. If you think that's something that you would like to learn about, hit me up. If not, cool beans. You know what I mean? Like something real quick and snappy like that. So
Yeah,
I don't know,
especially that
like-
they hear your voice, so that's the huge
yeah.
advantage.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like, I know it doesn't scale well, but I'm a big fan of like one-to-one communication with that.
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
a
Thank
good
you.
point.
Yeah.
Did I echo? I sounded like I echoed on my end.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I agree with that. When I'm getting LinkedIn messages, make sure that you have some sort of relationship
Yeah.
with me before you pitch me.
Yep.
In fact, who you are.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, the completely cold pitching, like doing a video, somebody doesn't know you, that's a little awkward.
Yeah, I don't ever do like a cold pitch. Yeah, let me backpedal too. Like I'm not sending out like a ton of like cold pitch DMs. That's not what I recommended. So like usually it's like companies or people that I've talked to for literally, I'm not even joking. There's times when I've talked to somebody for like a couple months before I actually pitch them.
Yeah.
You mean because like I track like a beast. I have, like I was just telling Sarah before we started recording, I track all of my followers. I track all of my people who like my content. I track people who interact with my content. And then like if it's a business prospect of somebody that I'd like to do business with and they keep interacting with me, after like the 7th or 8th interaction, like I'll reach out and be like, hey, like I'd like to get to know you. You know what I mean? And do you got time for a Zoom call? Something like that. So it's usually not like, dude, I'm not a fan of like cold pitching with that.
Yeah.
But do I think there's a place for some personalized cold pitching? Yeah, there is. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you really want to work with a company that like you really are jazzed about. You know what I mean? So, but that takes a delicate touch. Like it can't be, don't be a creep, don't be a weirdo. You mean be like a real human being and try to be as relational as possible.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible for you to cold pitch anyone. You're such a connector that they know you.
Yeah.
And as far as the cold pitching for companies you're really excited to work with, I think that it makes sense to do it with what you were talking about before with like going on ZipRecruiter and seeing who is looking for a marketer. They want to be cold pitched. They have that job description
Because
out
they are
there.
really looking for someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, when you think about it this way, like even if they hire somebody off of ZipRecruiter or through, you know that they're probably already talking to some sort of other like Robert Half or something like that. Don't think for a second that those companies don't take a humongous cut of profit out of like whatever hourly rate. Because I know when I worked as a developer on a project, we worked for a multi-million-dollar company that was doing software as a service. And when we were hiring developers, like it was all at 60, 70 bucks an hour. But like when I talked to them, once they got hired in, Robert Half was only paying them like 30, 35 bucks an hour. So it actually gives you tremendous leverage on what you're going to charge for an hourly rate when you're doing that.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Anna, did you have any other questions?
No, I think that's the bulk of it. I'm really excited. I love marketing. I don't know what else to say. I'm excited to meet you all.
Did you say you're from Chicago?
Yeah, I am.
I live here too.
Yes, so we should have coffee one day.
Good. I didn't realize that you were in Chicago.
Yeah. I'm not in the city. I'm in a suburb now, but I do go into the city. On Monday I'll be in the city.
No, in the suburbs too. I'm a mom. With
Yeah, go
many
mom,
dogs.
go suburban moms.
Yeah.
Which suburb are you?
I'm in Hoffman.
Hoffman? Okay, cool.
Where are you?
I'm in Wilmette.
Okay.
North.
Not far. I lived in Evanston before here.
Yes, Evanston. Love it. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
You're good.
Marston, can you introduce yourself and tell us what your question is?
I'm not sure. Can I join? No, kidding. It's like, I see that all of you are from States, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Polish and I live in Poland. 30.
Cool.
Yeah. I have not much to do with marketing yet. I mean, I'm a brand strategist, creative designer, web developer as well. And I run my business for over a year right now. And I totally forgot or overlooked the whole idea of marketing. Totally. So I just focus on my things. So worked with the clients that I got from the referrals mostly, or by offering some free work before, and then I get some referrals. That was the base. And after that, I realized that, oops, the wallet is getting shorter. And if I want to move a needle into the marketing, try to sell myself somehow, it's not gonna work. And then, I pop up to Chris. I found some other guys on LinkedIn as well. I started LinkedIn, learned a lot, did some courses about content marketing, social media marketing, and now I'm here. Yeah.
Nice.
We all have different paths, that's
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, so especially that I worked as a freelance designer for 8-9 years, but only as a side hustle. And I did many different jobs before: construction, HR, IT, warehouses, everything. And freelancing only in the evenings. But it was the time to start on my own, but yeah.
Good.
Well, that's exciting.
His stuff, he just rebranded too. So check him out on LinkedIn. Like if you guys, want to,
Yeah, thank you.
his stuff is really good. And that's how he and I got connected. Cause like he was posting some stuff for design work. And I was like,
I don't even
dude,
remember. How was it?
yeah. It was, I forget what it was, but like there was a couple different logos you were posting, like branding identities.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, your stuff's really good. And he's like, I'm just starting out. I'm like, let's still connect. It's good, man. Like I believe in what you're doing. So
Fun. Yeah.
it was a while ago, man. We've been connected for at least a year now.
It was.
Yeah.
And it's going up. I'm really happy that it pop up on LinkedIn, because I was focused on Instagram before. Yeah, some designer stuff like Behance, etc.
Yeah.
But I don't check any other social media anymore.
Yeah, for me, like Instagram, just I don't know about the rest of you marketers out there, but like Instagram is not hitting for my content at all. Like that's why I spend so much time on LinkedIn, because like, dude, you can toss out a post out there, get like 25,000 views and 200 interactions, and like I toss out something on LinkedIn and like crickets are going off, or on Instagram and crickets are going off in the background.
Yeah, and look at the comments, because on Insta, you can get the comments like nice or something.
Yeah.
Or even I joined the community of the designers on Instagram, and we just liked each other posts and comment on those. But everybody posts the same.
Won't get you clients.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like everybody posts the same advice.
Yeah.
So even designers post the info, how to create a logo, how to choose the typeface, etc. But it was all within, let's say, the circle. So that makes no sense at all. And even when I grow up a bit on Instagram, all those inquiries was like, I sent everybody to Fiverr, to be honest, because it was the thing which I'm doing, to be honest. So that's why, LinkedIn, it's the place, really.
So what's your question for us all, Marcin?
My question is, because I started, and when it comes to marketing, I'm a bit crazy about inbound marketing. So everything about the content and bringing people back to us. But how do you balance inbound and going out to the people and outbound?
Good
marketing?
question.
Yeah.
I don't know how to start even that. It's like I sent some emails before, the cold emails, but didn't work out at all.
I have some thoughts on this, but go ahead, Sarah and Chris.
Let's hear from you first. I've done a lot of talking. I want to hear what you have to say.
I mean, honestly, I've worked in startups, and the thing that impacts revenue the fastest and the best is outbound. And I think that's probably going to be the case unless you're HubSpot, or unless you're Marketo, or unless you're, I don't know who, unless that's your business. Inbound is more of like a channel that you start where you've got your outbound and you've sucked everything you can out of that, and you know your outbound system, and your inbound, you turn on that lever, and it's something you turn on, it's always on, and it helps the business, but not in the same way as outbound. Outbound is like usually the bulk of what generates the revenue, and inbound is, and I'm talking about companies like startups and 1 million revenue or above and stuff like that. I don't know how it is for me, right? Because I'm a one-person company, and it's probably, now that I think about it, it's probably the same thing. I'm not going to start with inbound. I'm going to start with like outbound and emailing and calling, and you do have to understand your unique selling, your value proposition, and how you're different and all that. But outbound will drive your revenue and is the most important thing first. And then once you get that going and the bulk of your business, then you focus on inbound.
And that's why, especially in a time when you already need desperately some work. So
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Have you ever worked in sales or anything, Marcin? Like, do you have any kind of background with that?
Nope.
Okay.
At all.
Yes.
What I learned about the customer service and contacted the people was when I worked in HR and finance, because all the invoices and that kind of financial stuff, I was in contact with actual clients, but nothing. It was way after sales.
Yeah. So I know for me personally, like I have 2 different salespeople that work with me, and they're commission based. So like I do split commission with them on things that they bring in, but that's their 100% job, is to go out and like network and to meet people and to create and forge those relationships. Like they're always at like the business mixers and whatnot, and like out in the community meeting people. And that's honestly like where the bulk of new business comes from. You know what I mean? So I think that especially when you're a small marketing agency trying to get there, like I know like not everybody has an outgoing personality, but at that point, like you really got to start to think like, should I partner with somebody else who does?
Mhm.
You know, because that's going to be a like a difference breaker for you. So
Sure. Get it.
Yeah.
Totally.
And as far as inbound is concerned, I would say inbound, think of it like this: inbound is long term,
Yeah,
outbound
exactly.
is short term.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah. When you're doing inbound marketing, you're doing content marketing, you're building relationships, you're showing your authority, you're helping people solve their problems, you're helping your core audience solve their problems, and that will carry you and give you leads long term. You're doing web development, branding, graphic design. So your ideal clientele is probably what, small businesses, entrepreneurs. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, startups, small businesses, and I'm trying to niche down to food and beverage. Especially that, my expertise, let's say, I started from packaging design.
So it would make sense to look at their problems. They're just starting a business. They're going to want to see content around building their business, how they can do accounting better, how they can build their brand and their marketing better, how they build relationships with customers. Think about what problems they're having right now in this stage to attract them to you. And then you can start talking about how their brand identity will be affected or will affect those items.
Yeah, and that's really good. And you know, that's inbound, but you can also pick up the phone and like call that restaurant and be like, hey, I saw your logo. It's not great. Can I help you?
Yeah, but
and
I think
like,
that might be the step.
Yeah.
That might be the step, especially that, guys, you have the option, I think, to work locally, but I don't work with any Polish clients, to be honest. I focus 100% on states.
Yeah.
100% on states. And even when somebody approached me here, it was hard to me to explain everything in Polish, because all my work, everything that I do, it's generally in English. So I was looking in a dictionary for Polish words, how to explain that kind of stuff.
Have you tried 99 Designs? Because
I did it. I started from it when I was a freelancer.
Okay.
But now it's like, I don't believe anymore in it, because it's like
a lot of spec work.
Yeah, it is, and you don't receive any information about the actual business.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
We like this, we like that, but that doesn't bring results, and I don't even believe in that anymore. So
that's a good point.
With what Anna was saying, I just reposted this HubSpot blog that had 30 templates for sales pitches that don't stop. I'll share it with the group. It's a good one. I was reading through these templates and I was like, yeah, those have worked on me before.
They got a lot of good content. Yeah, a lot of good templates. Yeah,
they do. But these templates, they're really good. I'll send them to you.
Great.
See, we have more people on the call.
Also 24 emails, huh?
What?
I saw 24 email addresses in the email.
Oh yeah. You know, only half of them are gonna
Oh, yeah.
actually be on a call though.
So
Right.
what time is it over there at your place, guys?
What time is it? 6:36.
Ah,
What are you at in Poland, man? Are you at like 4 a.m.? What are you doing?
no, 1:30.
Okay.
1:30.
a.m. Oh my God, that's dedication.
Right.
I'm gonna.
I
Talk
couldn't
about
miss that. I was like, in the middle of the day, I was tired already. I was like, no, I cannot miss them. I got one more, let's say similar Zoom conference prepared for last week with some other folks, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna make it. But this one I couldn't miss. So
Thank you.
yeah, all of you.
I am blown away that you showed up at 1:30 a.m.
Right.
That's not the last time. Yeah,
Nice.
you cannot get rid of me.
I don't have names except for Diana on here. Diana, do you want to unmute and introduce yourself? Maybe. Let's see if I can find her question. You guys talk amongst yourself while I find it.
I was going to ask you, Chris, so can you talk about what you do? Because I know that like you do podcasts because I've seen, Sarah on your most recent one. I just found out about you because of Sarah.
Nice.
So what is your business? What's your business model?
So like I run an agency called Tilt. We do content creation and sales enablement, ABM for primarily I focus in on business to business manufacturing because I have a sales background with the podcast. So I'm able to go in and help them with, automated marketing, but also like do like some of the when you're in business like manufacturing, the lead times can be, upwards of a year on some of these projects, especially when, they're looking at, charging something that's $100,000 to, a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of focused ABM marketing. It's a lot of sales enablement.
Yep.
It's a lot of like working with the sales team. And what's really funny is there's only one other agency in all of Ohio that does that. I found that it's a good point of differentiation for me.
Yeah.
Because not very many agencies focus on that. Like a lot of them think the whole Gary Vee content pillar thing, but content pillar is only part of the equation if you're not making conversions.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like you have to not just have the content, but you have to be able to deliver results on that content. And you have to really honestly enable their sales teams to make money. Just like you said, like if you're not, if you're getting the majority of your stuff for outbound, so are the other businesses that you're working with.
Yeah.
So most ad agencies just assume, we can drop you into a drip campaign and that's going to be enough when it's just, that's the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just the start. So that's kind of what my niche is that. I do website development just because like I've been a PHP programmer for forever. And so we do work with some smaller clients like with that, but what I'm really good at is definitely the ABM, the automated marketing, the sales enablement side of it, actually going into a company and literally being able to do not just marketing training, but sales training with their team. And, like my big stick is like, let's get marketing and sales on the same side, and actually like working together. Because
ABM all the way.
Exactly. So
have you read the book ABM is B2B?
No, but I have it. I picked it up, but like I'm I would consider myself a mentor of Pam Dindner. I don't know if you've read Effective Sales Enablement, but I read that book like it's literally the Bible. So like I have like underlines. Yeah, I have underlines everywhere in it. Tons of like side notes. Like I've had Pam on my show. Like we've talked over,
I'm writing that down. Effective Sales Enablement.
And Effective Sales Enablement by Pam Dindner, literally the best marketing book and like for sales enablement that I've ever read. And I've read several of them. So like that one I highly recommend. I have another one over here. That's good too.
You play guitar?
My wife does.
I found Diana's question when we're ready.
Here we go. This is another great book too on sales enablement as well. Byron Matthews, Tamara Schenk. Check that one out.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I'm going to share her question. So what is an efficient tip-to-tail process for marketing? Her mic isn't working. She just chatted us that.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means either.
The best process from start till the end, or
Start to finish?
Yeah.
Oh man, like immediately off the top of my head, I think that almost feels like a loaded question a little bit.
Like a huge blog post.
Do what?
It's like a huge blog post.
Yeah, because like you know, what's the most efficient process? Like I would probably say that depends on the company that you're working with and what their needs are. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a whole different process if we're working with a dental studio versus working with like what we just covered, like a business manufacturer.
Yeah.
So, Diana, I know you're chatting, like, do you have a specific like case scenario that you'd like us to kind of dive into? Okay. That's all Sarah. She can help you with that.
Okay. Are we talking really inexpensive tools or free tools? What's the budget looking like? For now, I'll talk about the overall. When I'm working with small clients, which is most of the time, I'm working with small businesses and they have small budgets, I make sure that my overall system has content included, social media automation included, and email. So I start with content clusters. Who's the audience that I'm targeting, and what do they care about? So I'll create content clusters around that to build up the SEO so we can be found in search. From there, as we're building out the content, we build out the social media strategy. I like Meet Edgar for that. It's not the cheapest, but it's fairly cheap. And the thing that's great about it is that it recycles your posts. So it's less work for a small marketing department. I relied heavily on Meet Edgar when I was really stretched thin. And so basically you could pull in RSS feeds from publications that have mirror audiences to you. You can have that going on the back end, but then you also post your content in there. And the nice thing about Meet Edgar is that it will read your article for you and it'll create content suggestions. So it kind of puts your post together for you. It's about $600 for the year, which, you know, it's not terrible. It's not a ton. And then with email marketing, something I'm experimenting with is HubSpot has a free CRM that's amazing. And there's some email capability with it.
Yes, I'm using HubSpot, and
Me
there is,
too.
yeah, as my CRM.
Yes, so am I. And you get so much out of that free tool. And then I use the integration with MailChimp so I can have automation with it. So I combine those tools to make it work together. And
Oh, cool, right, because the free version doesn't give you automation. That's
no, and that's frustrating, and I want automation. So I use the integration.
Like, you don't have time to send those emails. You got to automate that. You got two kids.
Exactly. So it's kind of like building a HubSpot out of cheap tools, combining them together.
Yeah.
Inexpensive, but effective tools, I'll say, not cheap. So that's what I do for my overall strategy when I'm trying to be in a lot of places with only just me.
Do you publish articles somewhere else or only on your website?
No, I do. I like to leverage other people's audiences. especially for up and coming businesses that don't really have a reputation yet. Use what you can to build a relationship with publications where you can guest post there.
Yeah.
And if you're guest posting on another publication, make sure that you create a content upgrade with it so you can carry that audience with you and put them in your email automation system, your CRM, and start, converting that audience.
Yeah, sure.
One of my biggest clients came from doing that.
Oh.
They read my article on TechFunnel and reached out, and
it's actually
fun.
that is awesome that you did that. Like, do it. Posting articles with like sources that actually have more followers is going to get you more results than just on your own blog, because they already have a big following and your credibility goes through the roof.
Yes.
When you're posting there, it's like above and beyond what you could possibly do if you're just starting out and you're, putting together everything on your website, on your blog.
Good advice. I just started blogging some time ago and it goes slow, and good advice. Thanks.
Yeah. When you're beginning, you don't have an audience, so it's mutually beneficial to guest post on other publications. They get free content. You get that audience.
So win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like Marcin, I've seen your work. So like if you were to pre-write an article and then contact, one of the editors of that, and again, seamless.ai, can get you in contact with pretty much anybody. Do some research and then like send them like, here's the article that I have. This was pre-written, but like, I could form fit it to whatever your parameters are that you would like. I'd love to work with you.
That's
what I mean? So
totally.
that'd be a great reach out for that.
How it calls the site, because you just said it 3 times, but I didn't catch it up.
Seamless.ai. I'll put it in the notes.
Okay.
And for those of you who are on super tiny budgets, they have a free monthly plan up to 100 searches.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah. Which, like, I don't really exceed that too much. You know what I mean? Like, because once you get in I'm focusing on larger clients, like, once you land that, you know what I mean? Like, the 100 should get you pretty far. Diana just asked the other book. I have it right here. It's called Effective Sales Enablement by Pam Didner.
Hold on.
And
I'll stop sharing so you can be closer.
Gotcha. So this is that book. This is gold right here. Absolute gold for sales enablement. So like I said, like I literally like read this like the Bible. I was not joking. You know what I mean? Like I've got like underlines everywhere. Yeah.
A+ student.
Dude. Well, like I met her. I actually attended one of her workshops in Columbus, paid $400 to do it. And it was some of the best $400 I've spent in my life because she's freaking brilliant. And she handled the all of the international advertising for Intel. So like I was like, I'm gonna learn as much as I can from you. So and then afterwards, some of you who know me know that I'm super personal. Afterwards, I was like, listen, like I've got to get to know you. Like I loved your vibe. Like I want you on my show, but like I also want to learn from you. So she agreed to do a series of like private phone calls with me. And like, so, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, like I've legit considered myself like, mentored by her. So I highly recommend getting that book.
The relationships you build blow my mind. Diana is saying the other book. I think she's Isle of Gold.
No, she meant that about the book, that it's because
There were 2 books. What was the second book?
Sales Enablement is just the name of it. That's just the name of the book.
Okay, there was only one book?
There's 2 books. One here. I'm using it to prop up my camera.
There we go.
Yep. Okay.
If you guys want great marketing books, my Bibles. Do you want to hear what my Bibles are?
Yes.
I think, probably everybody has like a Bible. I don't know. Maybe the real Bible. Who knows? But my Bible is one of them is called Traction,
And
Okay.
it's not new, but I love it. I think it's amazing. It's fantastic. And then the other Bible I have is One Page Marketing Plan. It is awesome.
And I've read. That is a good one.
Yes, and it's like it's classic. It does not go stale. And the other one is One Page Marketing Plan by Alan Dibb.
Are you able to put them in the notes?
Yes,
Thank you.
no problem.
Okay, we only have like 10 minutes left, and we have a couple more people we haven't gotten to. What is this number? 8482 number. Do you want to join in? Ask.
Hi, it's Jenny with Horizontal. How are you?
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I've been really enjoying listening to everybody, listening to everyone's perspectives and questions. Ton of wonderful information. So thanks for having me on. So my question was about humor in marketing and how to utilize it when it's appropriate, and gauging that or tailoring it for urban versus non-urban markets.
Chris, do you want to take this?
Sure. All right. So I think that like so many people look at B2B, and like I said, that's what I kind of focus in on. I've coached so many companies to get out of their little bubbles, their boring bubbles. It's ridiculous because, just because you're B2B doesn't mean your business has to be boring. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, you can get some life in there. You can have some fun with it. And in fact, when you do have fun with it, guess what happens? Nobody else in a world of accountants, you're going to be the dude at the party with all the beer. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to stand out, but you can still be fun, but be professional. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's definitely, you can definitely cross the line for sure. And I think like some of the dangers with being fun is you also have to be very aware of what's going on in the news cycle around you too, especially around like a specific topic. Like for example, I've been watching like Corona right now because the coronavirus, like they've pulled back hardcore. You know what I mean? So
I didn't even
Interesting.
Wow.
yeah. So, and like, I was going to put out a post, but then I didn't know that Kobe Bryant had died. You know what I mean? So my buddy, he was like, dude, don't do that yet. You know what I mean? Like push pause button. So I was like, okay, thank you. You know what I mean? I appreciated that. So we waited a couple of days, and that was like my dance video that I did on LinkedIn. Okay, granted, that was like a personal thing, but still, like, I didn't post it when we filmed it because of that. You know what I mean? And like, I fully believe that so many businesses take themselves too personally, and it just turns into just noise that people don't care about. You know what I mean? And like looking at, I know like I pretty much live and breathe on LinkedIn. That's my social media of choice. But the one thing that's missing the most on LinkedIn is entertainment content. Now I get it. It's a business platform, but business can be entertaining. Let's not discount that at all. But I think that that's probably one of the least used niches that's left on LinkedIn. You know what I mean? So I think, I'm definitely for it as far as like urban versus whatever, like make sure your joke is hitting with your segment. You know what I mean? Like if you literally, if you're thinking about doing an urban campaign and you're not urban, you got to talk to some people who are, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And get some inside scoop, because what you think might be translating might not be translating at all. So like, I highly recommend, networking with some people, like getting some friends. Like that's one thing that I really appreciate about Sarah. She creates all these networks of tiny marketers where you're not in it alone. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I might not be the best person to market to an inner city demographic, but I might need you someday. You know what I mean? So like, I want to make sure that I have somebody in my roster of people that I'm connected with that I can at least reach out to and be like, is this going to make sense for a big city environment versus like rural America, like what I live in? You know what I mean? So, I would say develop those relationships, but absolutely you should be having fun with your marketing. That's my take.
Got it. Thank you so much. I think part of my struggle, or one of my challenges right now, is it's brought into a wonderful organization that has really good disruptive values for a really kind of old and stale industry. But our tiny marketing team is struggling because they've been so corporatized. I don't know if that's a word, but if it is, and I'm making it up, but they've been kind of so in this kind of bubble, to your point, so they're kind of afraid to step out of the box on certain things. So one of the things that I've been trying to do is working with them, as well as just certain leadership in general, about how to kind of go about our message and how we're building those relationships and how we're talking to people in a different way.
It's good. Yeah, I'm a big advocate for don't take yourself seriously. And like I've worked before with Harley Davidson, so like that's probably a little bit of where that's coming from. Like, but with them, like they had no rules, dude. Like we could have done literally whatever we wanted. You know, they even told us that. So I don't necessarily recommend that for everybody. But I like what Diana said. Her mic's not working, but she said think about Geico, Aflac, Allstate. You know, these are all insurance companies that are having fun with their marketing message. So you can't tell me Geico's commercials are serious. Like, when's the last time you heard a serious Geico commercial? But we all know who Geico is because of it. You know what I mean? So I think that, I think that humor can definitely be embraced. And like, I'm kind of like curious. Like, I always love watching Super Bowls because of the commercials and to see what's out there. And I don't know, like, I just encourage brands all the time. B2B doesn't mean business is boring. You know what I mean? Like, spice it up, get some fun in there.
Yeah. Definitely.
I've always worked in more serious industries industries that take themselves seriously, but they're not. Like construction, old companies too, that are 60, 100 years old. So humor is a lot more delicate with those companies, and you can still include it. You can still have humor in that if you do it right, and you do it with the keeping in mind the audience that is looking at your content. I'm working with, like, I'm talking to facility managers. I'm going to make jokes that a facility manager is going to get, not something that, me, like, a stupid meme or something that I'll be a cat meme that I would be laughing at. I would choose something different for them.
Yeah.
Like, look at what's reacting with that audience. Look at what, like, in that same example, let's say I go to buildings.com as a facility manager publication. I would look at their Instagram, their social media, what's resonating with their audience, what kind of humor are they attracted to, and then go with that.
And match.
Match. Yeah. They know what they're doing. They have a lot of money to research their audience.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Thank you.
Well, I think it's tough when you're in a company and like the team and then the CEO and the leadership and everyone's like, yeah, we got to be careful, and then HR and all that stuff. It just like bogs you down. Marketing just wants to be fun.
Yeah.
I hear you on that. I actually, I worked at Blistex a while back, and they didn't have a Facebook page. They didn't believe that Facebook would survive. So I had to convince senior leadership that we needed a Facebook page, which I did. But I think sometimes that's what it's going to take. It's going to take convincing. You have to show them. They're
kind of right now, though. You know what I mean? Like,
well, okay. 2011.
Yeah.
We could have written out that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took like 15 years for them to finally hit a spot.
Right.
Right.
All right, it's 7:00. So we're gonna wrap up. Thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, Diana. You're going to be at my AMA event. I remember chatting with you about it. I'll see you in March.
Can I ask you one more question? Just one? All right. So what do you think is more important, creativity or data?
Oh my gosh. Data. Data, in my opinion. And then I'll get creative based on that data.
Okay. Fair.
What about you? What do you think?
I'm torn. I'm literally torn because I think like data, I lean towards data But like, oh man, I've also seen so many companies throw away their marketing budget on crappy messaging. You know what I mean? Like, but data should be driving that. You know what I mean? Like those decisions.
That's
So yeah,
You know how it is? It's supposed to be Monday, Tuesday for data and rest for creativity.
Yeah,
there you go.
that's what the freelance designer used to.
Nice.
I think it's about strategic creativity,
Yeah.
and I
Ooh,
think that
yeah.
not a lot of people have that as a skill.
Mhm.
So,
Good.
so that's why, yeah, I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's strategic creativity, and you have to have numbers to back up your creative.
100%.
Yeah, I completely agree. Diana says, I know data is big, but I'm creative to my bone.
Nice.
There has to be someone because I'm not.
You are creative, though.
When it's based around data.
I see.
Well, thank you guys. Rye, you want to say hi? My moderator / brother. Thank you for
Hi.
hopping on the call and moderating for me. He also goes by Rye Guy, Rye Bread, and any other nickname I've made up for him over the years.
Catcher in the rye. Does he do baseball?
Rye will also work.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you everybody for joining in. I'm gonna do I have 20 more questions that were sent in over for this call. So we'll get to that again next month
Right.
to those questions. Thanks, Chris. Do you want to say anything?
No, this was great. I appreciate you having me on. This was amazing. Like, I've always loved your work, and I appreciated being able to tag team up with you on this. And anytime you want to do this, hit me up and let me know. I'm definitely game.
All right, sounds good. I really
Awesome.
appreciate you joining.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye.